talked about our Mount Rushmore, but in order to be fair, let's say in what era? So, what is your Mount Rushmore in the era of the 60s? Who's your Mount Rushmore, the fighter that fought in the 1960s?
Well, my first and obvious, if we're talking about 60s, would be Muhammad Ali. But then he fought in the 60s. He fought in the 70s. I believe his last fight against Trevor Burbick was in 80, 81, I believe, because I know he fought Larry Holmes in 78.
I can go along with him. I put him on that same mountain in the 60s.
Yes.
When he was Cassius Clay.
When he was Cassius Clay.
Okay.
Yes.
And I leave him up there on that mountain, not only because of that, but because of what he went on to do in the sport.
Yes.
And the person that he became to be.
Yes.
You know, so he definitely got to be up there.
I would put Sugar Ray Robinson.
And okay, all right.
I'd put Sugar Ray Robinson.
All right.
He. Now, I'm sure a portion of his career was in the late 50s, if I'm correct.
Mm-hmm.
And then it followed into the 60s.
Mm-hmm. But how would he have fared against the guys in the 60s if you're going to put him on that mountain?
Well, we're talking at the weight class that he fought at. He fought at two different weight classes.
Yeah, middleweight, light heavy.
Middleweight, light heavy. As opposed to Ali just fought at heavy.
Mm-hmm.
One could possibly, during the 60s.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to figure out how you got 3 more people to put up on this mountain. Or 2 more you got to put up on this mountain.
Well, you know I'm going to pick your boy, the Goose.
Mongoose?
Mongoose.
Archie Moore.
Archie Moore.
Okay.
Archie Moore is up there.
All right. Okay.
Archie Moore is up there.
So now who else is up there?
And I'm looking at 4 on my Mount Rushmore, and I would lean toward because he was undefeated. His time period, I think, was more so in the 50s as well. Might have been late 40s, but he earns it heavyweight, Rocky Marciano.
Okay. I can go along with Ali. All right.
Uh-huh.
I definitely go along with Archie Moore.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to tell you why. The old Mongoose, he still holds the record today.
Yeah.
140 knockouts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Fought over 200 times.
Right.
All right?
Right.
But what I really like about Archie Moore is something that he did for a young kid named Bob Byrd. Okay? I was in the gym.
Right.
And he looked at me, and I had my little thing going on, you know, and he said, boy, sick with the boxing. Yeah, be in good shape, and, good footwork, jab, gym. He said, can you spell? And I said, yes, sir, Mr. Moore. He said, but spell out. I said, out? He said, yeah. I said, O-U-T. He said, that's the secret boxing. Out? He said, yeah. Your punch, if you can say the word out, your punch should be out there and back by the time you say out.
Before you say it.
Wow. And
right.
I used that. And when I teach seminars or I teach young fighters, I always share that with them. that if you can say out, that punch should be out there and back. He said, because that way they can't time you.
Right.
You know, I said, well, okay. So you know he got to be on my
Yes.
mountain, right?
Yes.
Ali, of course, yeah.
Yes.
And who else? I got Cassius Clay.
Well, let me say this. Let me say this before you finish. The other part of Mount Rushmore is also, I never got the opportunity to see a Marciano.
Right.
I've seen some clips. A matter of fact, he even fought the old mongoose when the old mongoose was up there in age.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, when they show Marciano, they will show that fight.
Okay. All right.
Because it was later, television was more active back then, so that's the footage that they're going to show.
Yeah, and you know the mongoose fought 2 heavyweight champions. You know who else he fought? He was on your Mount Rushmore.
Oh, yeah.
He fought Marciano and he fought Ali.
And he
That's
fought
right.
Ali. Yes, he did. Yes,
but
he
my
did.
last guy on my mountain is a guy that was probably one of the greatest light heavyweights of all time. Bob Foster.
Bob Foster.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That would be the next one up there.
Yes.
Bob Foster was the winningest light heavyweight champion, held the title, I think, longer than any other person.
Yeah.
Was a deputy sheriff, by the way.
Yes,
deputy
he was.
sheriff, and because his nickname was, sheriff, deputy sheriff.
Yes.
Foster.
Yes.
Down in New Mexico. He also fought Ali, lost.
Yes. They fought twice, didn't they?
Yeah, because back in those days, light heavy weight, they didn't get a lot of money. So if you want to make some money,
you had to go up to heavy.
You had to go up to heavyweight.
You had to go up to heavy.
And back in those days, if you were 176 pounds, you were heavyweight, because the light heavyweight limit was 175. So if you were 176, you were heavyweight.
And they had no cruiserweight back then.
Right. Cruiserweight wasn't in existence.
Wasn't in existence.
Yeah. So that's my 4.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my 4 guys that'll be up on Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
But only in the 1960s. Okay.